So I've turned down the initial gain on this show just to make it a little less hot when it first starts out, and you guys can take more time to adjust your volume level accordingly. You'll notice that unlike shows with, like sponsorships, people making money off their shows, doing ad reads or having commercials inserted, I don't do that. I'm not monetized over here. I pay for this because I don't want all that garbage in my for me. It's about the message. See, I'm not a sellout. I'm just trying to get a message out there. What's that message? It's at the end of every show. Got to be good humans. And usually I precede that by talking about how we're not being good humans for the first 40 minutes. And, it's all exhausting, I guess, really, isn't it? Who wants to be exhausted for the second time this week? Let's do it! Welcome back to Trent Takes On 2.0. I'm the Trent from the title of the show, and this is my second recording of the week. I did one on Monday that released on Tuesday morning. It was an evergreen episode. It didn't matter when it released. This one I'll release today. This is what day is it? Thursday. This is Thursday. Tomorrow is very exciting. It's 12/12. It's Frank Sinatra's birthday. So for those who celebrate. It's been a crazy I don't know. I just listened to the yearly recap of the Jon Stewart weekly show pod. Highly recommend. I love Jon. I've loved Jon Stewart. Started watching Jon Stewart as a host of The Daily Show in the mid-aughts or whenever it was. I watched The Daily Show going all the way back to Craig Kilborn. But love Jon Stewart. Always have. And him coming back and becoming a part of the conversation again has been really important and a good thing. So I just listened to their yearly recap with Jon Favreau of Pod Save America and Tim Miller of The Bulwark. And really interesting discussion about, a decade in the life. It has been a decade since the escalator ride that doomed us all. And the last 11 months, which is almost how long it's been since Trump 2.0 started, this has been the longest generation of my life, this last 11 months. It has been a long, painful ass year. And it feels like it never goes away. There's always a new scandal. There's always a new craziness. Marco Rubio has decreed that all United States State Department communications have to be in Times New Roman font because Calibri, I think it was, they were using Calibri, was too DEI. So I get we're at that point now. It was too diverse and inclusive, which is what? It's a fucking font. It's not like we were using Comic Sans. This is what passes for news. Like the crazy brainworm having anti-vax, anti-science head of Health and Human Services, Robert F. Kennedy Jr., has declared that the vaccine schedule needs to be adjusted with no fucking science behind it. They're just adjusting vaccine schedules by removing vaccines or postponing vaccines. And again, oh dear God, there's like a race going between Rubio and Kristi Noem and Whiskey Pete Hegseth and Brainworm Kennedy. Which cabinet secretary can cause the most deaths globally? Honestly, I believe Rubio is still in the lead with the way they've treated the U.S. foreign aid. But yeah, it's been a hell of a thing. Let me tell you, we're not who we're supposed to be anymore. If you listen to this pod week in, week out, you've heard me say we're supposed to be better than this. I don't know, roughly 300-400 times in the last year. That's a guess. It probably isn't that many, but we're supposed to be better than this. Dozens of times. How about that? That's probably fair and not an exaggeration. We are supposed to be better than this. We always have been, really. For all of our warts and all of our problems, the United States has always been a supposed bastion of democracy, even though we didn't practice it particularly well ourselves, and we still don't. But we're still anti-monarchy. We're still anti-dictator. We're still anti-authoritarian for the most part. There is a sliver of the United States population that is pro-authoritarian as long as it's their authoritarian. And that's really one of the weird things about authoritarianism. You know, you could be like, well, we need a strong man to be in charge and call all the shots. Well, what if he doesn't agree with you? Then are you cool with it? And people are like, well, no, not then. Oh, okay. All right. Well, then you don't really want an authoritarian. Do you? Because they're not always going to be the kind of the kind king that you think you want. Because sometimes they're going to be tyrants, because absolute power corrupts absolutely. It's an old saying that just so happens to be true. You need look no farther than what's happening in 2025 in this country. As the Republican Party continues to push more and more power into the lap of the executive branch, specifically into the lap of Donald Trump, through the abdication of power by the Congress and the blatant giving away of power by the judicial system. Oh, well, yeah, sure, Congress set this up this way, but Donald Trump can decide to do it however he wants. Remember when Joe Biden wanted to do something crazy like, forgive a whole bunch of student debt because our student debt loan structures were predatory as all Jesus, all bejujus. That's a weird thing to say. Don't say that. All get out. Okay, there you go. That's very Southern of me. When Joe Biden wanted to erase student loan debt because our loan structure was predatory and corrupt, the Supreme Court stepped in and went, no, you can't do that. That is not part of the executive's power. Boy, but they have changed their tune for Donald Trump. Donald Trump can do anything he wants, according to this Supreme Court. It's a joke. It's hypocrisy. It's disgusting. It's vile. It's wrong. We are so desperately in need of Supreme Court reform and expansion. You can have corruption when you just have to get a majority of 9. It's a hell of a lot harder when you have to get a majority of, 13. Or even more difficult, which is what I think they should do, when you have to get a majority of 39. Why 39? Because there's 13 federal districts, and each federal district could have a Supreme Court panel of 3 justices. What? And if ever there's a situation where those 3 justices cannot concur on an opinion, in other words, offer a 3-0 referendum on whatever it is that's come before them, well, you can go to the larger panel of 39. Or in cases that affect more than one federal district, you can go directly to the 39. Wow. And that way, you couldn't have a bunch of what Republicans are always calling activist judges, which is ironically what the conservative justices are doing on the court right now. They're activists just for the other side, pushing pro-fascist, pro-authoritarian decisions, one after another, undermining democracy itself, all in the name of power to white Christians. Which is exhausting. Just like everything else this year's been exhausting. But you guys have been with me, and you've felt the pain. You've heard the anguish. You've heard me try to put positive spin on thing after thing after thing, and I continue to do that to this day because I honestly believe not only are we not doomed, that the backlash from this will lead us to a better government and a better society to live in. We're going to have to pay some price beforehand. It's going to be painful to get there, but we're going to get there. They're going to try really hard to change the outcome of this midterm election in 2026. They're going to try. You're going to fail, but they're going to try. And it's going to be obvious, and it's going to be ugly. But the Democrats are going to win back the House of Representatives, at least. Probably not the Senate, too, because the Senate map is awful. But it's not, it's not impossible. And even if they don't, even if they just get control of the House of Representatives, A, they can stop any legislation that these idiots on the right want to push. And they can start holding some people to account for their wild corruption and abuse of power. At the very least, they can get the information out and tell the story. And that'll be huge. That'll be huge. They'll be able to slow some stuff down, and that'll be big. Because it's been the rapidity of what's happened, the incredible speed with which they've executed all of this descent into absolute authoritarian fascism. Just look up the words. Just look up the words. That's what we're living with. They think that they can push a militaristic private police on us. They think that they can make criticism of the leader illegal. Yeah. They think that they can take power away from the states. Like this week, Donald Trump signed an executive order that banned states from passing regulation on AI companies. No, states are already passing regulation on AI companies because their products are completely unsafe and they're in the hands of far too many people. I can say this from personal experience. Children should not have access to artificial intelligence platforms. Full stop. I don't even think adults should either because I think it corrupts our critical thinking, which is probably the worst thing that could happen to us. We so desperately need critical thinking. If you don't understand that AI and crypto are exactly how Donald Trump has risen to power and stayed in power, maybe not the AI so much as cryptocurrency and social media and the perversion of the algorithm. We'll take that. But man, this guy is corrupt as hell and he's getting paid in cryptocurrency and it's untraceable. And oh my God, did you just realize that that's what cryptocurrency is for? For those who had this dream that Bitcoin was going to be, the thing that replaced global currency, I have bad news for you. It's not a good idea. It's just not. Because it got into the hands of people who would corrupt it. And now look at what cryptocurrency has become. A way to launder ill-gotten gains. It's just ill-gotten. It's the easiest way to launder money ever. How do I pay Donald Trump for the pardon that I need for my kid? Oh, well, I'll just buy $100 million worth of Trump coin. Untraceable. Yeah. And currently all legal because, not the bribery part, the purchasing of the coin part, because we don't regulate any cryptocurrency at all, which is just mind-blowing. The whole point of cryptocurrency is that it can't be regulated. Yeah, therefore it can be manipulated. It is so easy to take something that's unregulated and just abuse the hell out of it. And if you don't see the parallels between what happened with crypto and what's going to happen with artificial intelligence, what are you thinking? And if you're curious to know why your power bill is up 11% in the United States, that's on average. In certain states, it's up significantly more. Almost all red states, for the record. Places like Ohio, Kentucky, Alabama, where power rates have gone up 30+% versus places like Southern California where power rates haven't gone up but a blip because it turns out it's really expensive to build AI processing centers, data centers in a place where it's really expensive to get, real estate. So they go where the real estate is cheap and they just suck up all the power from the grid, and that causes increase in demand because there's a decrease in supply, and supply and demand means it gets more expensive. And AI doesn't care. It doesn't care how much power it needs. It doesn't care how much it affects everybody else in the community. It doesn't care how many jobs it displaces. AI doesn't care about anything. Also, for the record, It doesn't work particularly well. It still hallucinates, and anybody who thinks that you should be getting into a car that's driven by AI, or worse than that, a plane that's flown by it, you should think about the fact that artificial intelligence has a tendency to hallucinate. And do you really want a drug-addled, hallucinogenic artificial intelligence controlling your destiny? I don't think so. Artificial intelligence is not good, kids. And stop using it for slop. If you can't use Photoshop, just shrug your shoulders. You don't need that. And stop making fake movie trailers. Holy shit balls. What an incredible waste. Is it cool? You know what used to be cool? Having an imagination was cool. And here I am, old man yelling at clouds. But this time, I'm right. 2025 has taught us a lot. It's taught us a lot about being Americans. It's taught us a lot about what's really important. It taught us what mass deportation looks like, and it's not attractive. And for the record, they're not even good at it. These guys are just horrible at their jobs, and they're not going to get better. They're going to get worse. All of the best candidates to join this group joined up immediately. All of the people that they're bringing in now are the people who couldn't qualify before at any point and probably should qualify now. But man, immigration and customs enforcement, you know what I'm saying? This is what this regime thinks is important. $1 trillion for the military, $200 billion for immigration enforcement, but healthcare, food assistance for the impoverished people of this, nah. People don't need to be healthy or have food. We just need to make sure that we get as many non-white immigrants out of the country as possible. And that's what they're doing. Donald Trump got up on a stage just the other day, talked about how all of our immigrants are from shithole countries. A phrase that back in 2018, the White House denied he used, to the point where it was maddening because other witnesses have been like, yeah, he absolutely said it. And the White House just, no. Now he's saying it on a rally stage. Wide open. The racism, wide open. Full effect. It used to be a bad thing to be a racist. It used to be a sign that you were a fool to not understand that human beings are human beings and the amount of melatonin in their skin doesn't really matter. Racism used to be bad, and it still is. It's a sign of ignorance. And I'm not going to step back from that. People of color are people. People without color, like me, I guess. Am I a transparent person? See-through. People who are white, like me, are just people. People who are black, like my friends. People who are Latin, like my friends. They're all just people. We're all just people. We're all just people, regardless of what gods we worship, regardless of who we choose to love, regardless of how we choose to identify ourselves. We're all just people. I guess unless you're a person that wants to identify as a non-person, who I've never met anyone like that, but I suppose it's possible. Maybe people want to identify as robots. They'd fit right in with the AI crowd. Maybe. I don't know. If you're like me, you're frustrated, you're tired. You're tired. But you're also trying desperately to latch on to the positive, the good things, like election results. We had more special elections this week, 2 days ago. Tuesday, in a fully gerrymandered Georgia House race, a Trump plus 12 district, the Democrat flipped it and won by a full 1.5. So it's about a 13.5 point swing. Just another example of a Democrat performing about, on average, 13 points better than they did 1 year ago in November of 2024. That's something to be positive about. That tells you that the independents that swung over to the Republican side are not into this. They're not. And a lot of the gains that the Republican Party made in 2024 are being erased because a lot of the policies that they've instituted are unpopular, wildly unpopular. And some of the promises that they made, they've completely ignored, like addressing inflation. If anything, they've made it worse with their immigration policy and their tariff policy. And people are figuring that out. And that's leading to changes in the way that people see their leadership and what they want out of their leadership. Fun fact, a lady named Eileen Higgins? Ah, man. I don't remember what her last name is now. Starts with an H. She seems really nice. She's a Democrat. She's the new Miami mayor. She won by 19 points, 59-40 over the Trump-endorsed Republican. So the mayor of Miami will be a Democrat for the first time in 28 years. Yow! That's crazy. That's crazy, isn't it? That huge swing in Miami. And we didn't talk about it, but earlier this year, Jacksonville had the same thing happen. So the two largest cities and I was unaware that Jacksonville was the second largest city in Florida. Wow. Okay. Have both flip-flopped mayors from Republican to Democrat in the last year. Well, there are good things that are happening. People continue to break away from the madness that is Mad King Donald as he snoozes through cabinet meeting after cabinet meeting, as he stands before people to give a speech on economics and how they're going to conquer the affordability issues of the American people, where he gave that speech, which turned out to be just really a bunch of bullshit and racism, in front of a crowd of 1,500 people at a luxury resort hotel and casino in Pennsylvania. Talk about being out of touch. The best thing that we have going for us is the incompetence of this group of fascists. That Donald Trump is like legitimately crazy. He's crazy. He's a loony old man, even loonier than me, believe it or not. So as we head toward the end of 2025, I will be doing at least one more show this week. Well, at least one more show. I plan on doing one more show tomorrow, and then I plan on doing at least one show next week, maybe two. I can't tell you enough that the tide is turning and that we should be hopeful and we should be, moving in a positive direction. Things are going to escalate quickly in 2026. So this is probably our final chance to breathe some cinnamon scented air or Douglas fir, whatever. Holiday scented air and recenter ourselves. Surround yourself with your loved ones, your friends, your family. Look around and realize that what we do for each other. We're looking out for each other. That's what community is. And that's what a society is. And if we're being honest, that's what we've lost because of Donald Trump. Those who want to carve up this society the way they want, they've been empowered, emboldened, encouraged, and they need to be discouraged. They need to be scared of their terrifying rhetoric again, because there's no place for it in this world. 2025 has been a struggle. 2026 is the beginning of redemption, retribution, reincarnation? Maybe. I felt like I had a real fun threes thing going on there, but yeah, this is what you get when you don't write anything down. This is all extemporaneous, my friends, my peeps. Well, I'll be back before you know it. I have every intention of recording again tomorrow. A little special episode, maybe. We'll see what it's like. Short, sweet, to the point. Just like all of you. Short and sweet. I don't know, some of you may be very tall. Tall and sweet. I just can't thank you enough for coming with me on this journey. Please, please, please continue to listen and share this with a friend. And remember how important it is to be good humans. It's the very least we can do. And it makes all the difference in the world. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And until next time, love you.